that's a nice shirt you've got on there. It looks okay, but realistically, it could probably look better. There are simple things that you can do, you see, to make yourself look a little bit better when you're wearing a shirt, so that you can improve the way that you look and stand out from all the other guys wearing shirts. Here are 5 awesome tips that you should follow in order to look great. Now, the first one seems to be one that I'm not following at the moment. If you look up close, this shirt is far from ironed. There are creases everywhere. It looks like the skin of a 90-year-old woman. It's actually unbelievable the amount of guys I see on a daily basis wearing stuff that's completely creased. It looks like they've rolled up in a ball and just started kicking it around like a football. If you've got loads of creases like this, it takes people's attention away from you and just onto the creasy shirt. There are a couple of options you've got here. The first one is, as soon as you've washed the item of clothing, get that hung up straight away. Have hangers ready before the wash finishes, so that as soon as you take them out of the machine, you can whack them straight on the hanger. In a lot of cases, depending on the material that the shirt's made out of, then you can get away with this. As the shirt dries, the creases will fall out. But if you're not so proactive and on top of it like this, then the only option you've got is to use one of these. This shirt's gonna look a heck of a lot better ironed, so I'll be back in a moment. Okay, we're back and we're looking much less creased and a lot cleaner. It gives you the smooth overall look, and this looks much better, I'm sure you'll agree. Now, the second way to look better in a shirt is one that's often overlooked. That's to do with the cuffs on your sleeves. These 2 buttons here, I think with most shirts, may as well be one, because most guys only ever use the first button. In a lot of cases, you'll get a shirt and it'll be pretty decent, but it's just not quite tight enough along the sleeves. It's just the shape that some brands create their shirts. But don't just use that second hole as something to look at, actually use it. It's a functional button. Luckily, that isn't really a problem with this shirt, but I'll just show you when I do it up. It does pull it quite a lot tighter throughout. And this is going to be particularly useful if you're someone that's pretty skinny, because you'll find that in most cases, even when you use just the first button by itself, loads of sleeves are just going to come drooping down from your wrist, because your arms and wrist in particular just isn't big enough to fill a shirt. By pulling this tight to the second button, then that's always a good way to go. In fact, there was a time a few years back when I was a lot thinner than I am now that I only ever looked for shirts that had the second button for this reason, because it saved me having to take it to the tailor. And another thing you can do is find one of your shirts that fits well in your opinion around this area, lay it flat and then measure the width of the cuff. And then when you go out shopping, check the cuff widths on different shirts that you're checking out, because some may be way too big for you and you'll be able to tell straight away without having to go home once you purchase the item. The third tip on this list to look better in a shirt is also to do with sleeves. What if you want to roll your sleeve up? Well, I've got a couple of tips here that will come in useful. Now, the first one is that sometimes when you go rolling your sleeves up, it's all baggy and then things are sticking out to the sides. Or sometimes if you've got a really wide sleeve that doesn't fit very well, what do? Well, rather than undoing all the buttons in this section, you'll normally find a little button down here. Why not try buttoning this up and then roll again, and you'll feel that it pulls it and it stays a bit tighter onto the sleeve. And you'll already see that's significantly tighter. Once more, this may be an option if you're someone with really thin arms. But then how far do you actually take this roll? I've seen lots of style advice online saying that men should exclusively make sure that they roll above the elbow, which I think in a lot of cases is correct. But I've even seen people say that guys who are really skinny should do the same, because apparently it builds up the bicep area. For me, I don't think that it makes nearly enough difference to be worth it. For me, I think that in that regard, it doesn't make a great deal of difference at all. If you're skinny, then people are going to see that you're skinny. You're not going to be able to disguise that by rolling your sleeve to a certain place. Really, when you take a look at it, if you're a really skinny guy, you're probably going to have a really bony elbow. You're going to have the bones really protruding out and there isn't a lot of meat around there. By rolling it above your elbow, you're just exposing that even more. It's the same premise with the V-neck t-shirts that loads of guys recommend to skinny guys because they say it'll make them look more muscular. But in fact, it just exposes the collarbone loads and then people can see that you're really bony. As an alternative, I'd recommend if you're a really skinny guy, then roll it right onto the elbow or a little bit further down from the elbow, just to conceal these bony bits that might otherwise be spearing out. I was really body conscious when I was younger and I just found that these things, they just helped a little bit for me. The fourth way to look far better in a shirt is to take a look at the collar and the placket area, because what you'll find is that most shirts that you get are terrible because they collapse in this area. when you're trying to wear these without a tie, it just flops and sags down, and it makes the shirt look like a cheap shirt even when it isn't. If you want to look better without a tie and you want your shirt to look more premium and structured, then take a look at this. My friend Carlos introduced these to me when I went to America. He was wearing these $1 million collar things inside one of his shirts, and I didn't realize what it was, and his shirt in this photo shoot thing we had looked so much better than mine. And I thought I need to get on this, and I've got in contact with them. I've been trying them. They're awesome. They're these little strips made out of a special material. Completely washer safe, heat resistant, you don't have to worry. But these basically slide into the top section of the placket, then you re-sew them up at the top, and they enhance the structure of your shirt. I recently showed you me upgrading a terribly fitting, ugly shirt using one of these, as well as taking it to the tailor, and the results are amazing. Because these are a lot more rigid than the regular fabric in your shirt, it just gives a much more structured feel to the placket. And it stands up by itself, it doesn't look floppy, and it doesn't look cheap. They're sponsoring this video, and I'm really chuffed that I get to work with them because the products legitimately work. And it's a really simple solution that means you can undo several buttons and still look good in the shirt. I'll leave a link to $1 Million Collar down in the description below so you can have a look for yourself. And I've also got a discount code down there as well. I mean, these things are pretty inexpensive anyway, but you get a further 10% off if you use the code EMW10 at checkout, which takes them down to a super low price. You can get a bunch of these so you can chuck them in each of your shirts. I love them, well worth it. This shirt here is a new one for me, so I'm definitely going to get these fitted in this one too. And I could have made the fifth and final one on this list a really simple one. I could have just said, you know, get a shirt that fits well. But really, I think it needs to be a bit more than that. I just recommend experimenting with different fits and trying a multitude of different brands. Because some brands, the shirts are built in a very specific way. They're a certain shape to really fit certain body types, or in some cases to fit as many men as they can possibly fit physically into the shirt. But you are going to find certain brands that fit you so much better than others that it reduces the need for tailoring. This shirt, for instance, by BD Baggies, I've been wearing recently because this just fits me nicely along the sleeve compared to lots that I've found, and it doesn't seem to pull much at the chest. Whereas a multitude of other brands I've tried before, I tend to be between sizes, doesn't fit in certain areas of the body. I would have to spend more money on them to get them tailored, so why not just get one of these? And that's going to be exactly the same for you. You're going to find certain brands fit you better than others. The only way you're actually going to know is to try. And then if you've bought a shirt and then you lose interest in it, then just sell it on eBay or something. And just make sure as well, if you're going to wear it untucked, which the shirt, you can't quite see, but this is an untucked one, make sure that the fit isn't designed to be tucked in. Because if it's extra long, if it's going past your buttocks, then that's probably one that's been made specifically to be tucked in. So if you're aiming on wearing this not tucked in, then make sure you go for one that's shorter. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you found this one useful. And if you do want to toughen up your collars, I've got links to $1 Million Collar in the description below. The best way to wear a shirt without a tie, I couldn't be more pleased. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you press the like button. And if you want to see similar videos just like this on what to wear, how to style your hair, stuff like that, make sure you press the subscribe button right here. And I've also got 2 more fun videos for you to watch right down below. And I'll see you on the next one.